I want to give a big thanks to Ubisoft for providing me with access to this game. I will also be giving away one copy of Assassin's Creed Mirage, the Deluxe Edition. To enter, simply leave a comment. The winner will be notified by the end of the week. I have been playing Assassin's Creed since its inception on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and not only has it grown and evolved into something much bigger, but along the way it heavily influenced game design, and to this day we still see those things implemented as recently as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's Towers. Now, AC Mirage is supposed to be a return to what we remember Assassin's Creed to be before it became this massive open-world RPG, and that is accomplished here for better and for worse. There's a lot here that I sincerely loved, and some things that felt a little dated or shallow. The story pacing was not great, however I felt by the end it delivered a somewhat satisfying narrative, and that's even with its flaws. I did complete the game and indulge in some of the side content. I do intend to go for the platinum, but felt I experienced enough to deliver a fair review. So Assassin's Creed Mirage follows our character Basim, who you probably recognize from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This time we're taken to 9th century Baghdad. Fun fact, I'm actually from Iraq, so this was an even more interesting experience for me. And this is his origin story from a lowly thief to something much more. Basim is a likable character, and along the way we meet many interesting people. The game truly opens strong with an impactful prologue and Basim's journey to become a hidden one. Before I dive into more of the story, I want to take a moment and express my appreciation for Mirage's depiction of 9th century Iraq. Naturally, I have no clue how accurate it is. However, I really felt the soundtrack nailed the setting, and the structures and dialogue exchanges with characters and civilians really helped make it a more immersive experience. This alone is a big highlight of Assassin's Creed Mirage. Getting back to the story, Basim meets a lot of interesting people, but most notably, Roshan, his mentor, is played phenomenally by Shora, and this is a relationship that we further explore with Basim. Now, earlier I mentioned the pacing of the story to be a bit of an issue, and that is mostly due to the fact that we are completely off the rails here, since we are given the ability to explore all 4 hideouts at any point and take on investigations as we see fit. Because of this, it makes it harder to tell a cohesive story that connects all the cases together. I also feel the lack of a build-up from discovering the new order of the Ancient Members to their inevitable assassination. Ultimately, it just felt like these were insignificant stepping stones to the main plot. Mirage opens beautifully and ends strong, but everything in between the prologue and the final act just doesn't hit as you would expect. There are slight glimmers in between only to not capitalize on what could be big decisions for the player to make or turning points. Mirage gave me a satisfying story, but could have done it better given the great potential that era and the characters had. Now, the gameplay, on the other hand, is truly a return to the original formula, but even so, with a twist. The movement is smooth, the parkour is fast and fun, and the game ditches the major RPG mechanics and hones in on where the series started. Stealth and assassinations being the true way to victory, the game rewards you and promotes it in every way. Taking on enemies who are alerted will become overwhelming very quickly, and when this happens, you have 2 choices. Try and fight your way through, or lose their attention for a chance to reattempt the stealthy approach. Head-on attacks are not very viable given the aggressive nature of the enemies, the damage they deal, and nature of the gameplay requiring timing for parries and dodges for attacks that have the enemies glow red. These attacks cannot be parried and do massive damage when hit. Mirage also has 6 tools to use: throwing knives, sleep darts, traps, smoke bombs, and noisemakers. There's also a special attack which lets Basim tag an enemy for every bar filled, delivering an insta-kill chain. The only condition is that Basim must remain unseen, and the gauges must be full from completing stealth takedowns. Again, an example of how Mirage is a stealth game and rewards players for this approach. There are also 3 skill trees. Phantom, that focuses on aggression and fighting; Trickster, which allows for the expansion of your tools and more perks; Predator, which improves your eagle vision; Enkidu, and Stealth approach. The Predator skill tree was the most useful to me, especially once unlocking the Stealth Recon perk, which keeps all enemies highlighted as long as you remain undetected. Another return to form is the equipment. Basim carries a sword, dagger, talisman, outfits, and costumes that can be dyed. The sword and dagger and outfits can all be upgraded 3 times, with each one having unique traits that improve with each upgrade. What I love is that you get to spend more time with your equipment because you aren't finding a more powerful weapon every 10 minutes, giving far more value to the equipment you have obtained. Now, the world is packed with things to do. Pickpocketing minigame that tests your timing, world contracts that are small side quests that give you materials and favor tokens that can be used around the world on musicians, merchant patrols, mercenaries, and reducing notoriety levels. The notoriety is another return to the game's older formulas, with you having 3 thresholds, with each one bringing you more attention. The only way to decrease it is to defeat the elite guard at level 3, tear down posters, or pay to decrease your wanted level. Going back to side activities, there are tales of Baghdad that have you interacting with NPCs in unique situations that are supposed to be related to the era, a lot of collecting with lost books, history of Baghdad orbs, and lastly, mysterious shards that are held by enemies. There is no shortage of things to do, and a lot of it is a matter of repetition with the iconic viewpoints and collections to complete. Overall, I feel AC Mirage accomplishes what it sets out to do, bringing the gameplay back to the series' roots, and along with it, some dated aspects as well as repetitive activities and a gameplay loop that doesn't inspire innovation. It feels very safe and not inventive, but that seems to have been the desired approach, which in fairness, it succeeds. Now, naturally, a big question is bugs. Are there bugs? And during my time with Mirage, I did have some bugs that required me to restart my save for objectives to load, as well as not being able to interact with shopkeepers sometimes, which I wasn't able to resolve without reloading my save. The odd pop-in did occur, no frame dips or resolution drops while playing in performance mode, as far as I could tell. It is important to note that Ubisoft was kind enough to give me a PC code, which I played for 3 hours before switching to the PS5 version. Both experiences were great, and I felt the optimization was where it needed to be during my experience. Overall, a very good experience on both platforms, and nothing to break immersion. As expected, a day 1 patch and more patches to follow can be expected to address existing concerns. Cross-save functionality, also a thing. Cross-progression. You could play on the PC and then switch to the PS5 as long as you own it on both platforms. Now, Assassin's Creed Mirage was a good experience. I had fun. I was pleasantly surprised, and I really enjoyed going back to what made us fall in love with this franchise in the first place. While I love this, and I do want to see Ubisoft do more of these smaller games, I wouldn't say this should permanently take place of the larger scale AC games, but rather this would be a nice buffer in between major releases. The gameplay was good, the story was satisfying, and even considering the lack of pacing and fleshing out in between major plot points, the world was packed and held my attention and delivered what I believe to be an 8 out of 10 experience. If you like Assassin's Creed, this game will likely be for you. And if you are new to the series, this isn't a bad place to start. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you picking up Assassin's Creed Mirage? Have you played it already? How do you feel about it? As always, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you did not enjoy the video, hit the dislike button. Subscribe if you're new, and share the video to keep the community informed. I thank you all for watching. Take care.